1 out of 4 families has somebody suffering from migraines. You should know that. And look, if you're in a family with somebody who suffers from migraines, you know something. You know that it's something you'd like to have fixed, cured, done away with. And it's one of those things where I guess headaches just kind of fall into a category of, it's just a headache. But people who suffer from migraines know it's a whole different ballgame. This is Migraine Awareness Month. Did you know that? Welcome to June. You wouldn't even know it's June. What is it, 48 degrees outside? I don't know. If you don't like the weather in New England, hang around for a few minutes. How are you? Good Monday evening to you. Dan York, my state of mind. I hope yours is good. Yes, we'll talk about the challenge of migraines and what we can do about it and what you should know about it and fundraising to help with it and all that coming up tonight. So thanks for tuning in. That's what's on the agenda this evening. Let's go to the rundown and see what we're talking about news-wise. Yes, there is a break in the action. It's only going to be a couple of days, but it sets up for a big presidential fight, no doubt about that. Well, the second item is all about how they'll pay it, meaning the tolls on the roads. Gina Raimondo, our governor, was on Newsmakers this weekend and came up with a doozy, a real doozy, and he's making it official tomorrow. Our former senator and governor says he'd like to be our president of the United States. Next, who? So is a stripper, yes, I said stripper, a contract employee or an employee? A lawsuit will determine that. I think the strippers got some momentum. You know, I didn't think about putting that conversation, actually, now that I see the chronology. I got Jesus behind a stripper. And your state of mind is important to us. Woo! You know, have you ever had one of those days? It's been one of those days for me. You have those days. Do you have them on Monday? Do you have a migraine? I do, but let's get on with the show. Break in the action. WashingtonPost.com shows you that we got a headline, sunsets on the NSA surveillance powers. So for a couple of days, all that phone record accumulation that's become such a controversy has stopped. Here's CBS report.
The Senate will debate a House bill that would overhaul how the National Security Agency gathers U.S. phone records to search for terrorists. Lawmakers refused to consider the same legislation 8 days ago, but are now searching for an alternative plan after Kentucky Senator Rand Paul blocked a vote to extend the controversial Patriot Act. The GOP presidential candidate is leading the campaign to permanently stop the bulk collection of U.S. phone records, a practice that former NSA contractor Edward Snowden first revealed in his WikiLeaks documents.
So Rand Paul, libertarian as much as you can be and run for president, is trying to make this point, and he promised that he would, you know, pull his senatorial right and hold up this legislation. He also admits that this whole thing is going to happen without him anyway. But it will set up, once this whole thing is kind of put back together later this week, when the House vote is actually approved in its complete totality, I guess, by the Senate, it will set up a presidential debate of significant proportion on security, constitutionality, and the like. Rand Paul would suggest that the Constitution provides enough protection. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting debate. It will be very heavy duty in our, at least, Republican presidential primary, no doubt. The concept that they'll pay it, this is really interesting. So Tim White, Ted Nesi, newsmakers here on, on sister station Channel 12 and Channel 64. And by the way, now you can, if you missed their television shows and you're running around on a Sunday, you can now hear the audio portion of Newsmakers on WPRO, my other home base, 6 o'clock on Sunday nights. But anyway, they had Governor Raimondo on, which is good. And of course, Governor Raimondo, I think, had a bad week last week when she was trying to get the tolls idea all accepted. And not a lot of people are jumping up and down about what she proposed. She's got a foundational theory for why this is going to be just fine for the truckers. Listen to this.
You remember a few years ago there was a bridge in Pawtucket that trucks were not allowed to drive over because it was dangerous?
Sure, and they'd get whacked with a huge ticket.
A huge ticket, right.
$3,000, I think.
Right, there was a big sign up that said, please don't go over this bridge, but by the way, if you do, it's a $3,000 fine.
Right.
In a period of 4 years, the state collected almost $14 million in fines because the truckers would constantly show up in traffic court and say, we'd rather pay a $2,000 fine than reroute because we can't afford to lose that time. So if they're willing to pay a $2,000 fine, they can pay a $20 user fee to have good roads because they need to make time on good roads.
That is insane. Okay. All due respect to the governor, who I am fond of, that is insane. Insane. The idea that truckers were running through the Pawtucket River Bridge ready to build into their pro forma, their business model, a $3,000 ticket knocked down to $1,500 in the district court. Has anybody got the district court testimony that supports the governor's foundational idea? And by the way, it's not $20, it's $40 to go across the state. That's what their original plan was. I have never seen anything so miscommunicated, misconstrued, story-changing, theories that come from Pluto. Look, the only thing we agree on with the governor is that our bridges need to be fixed. Everything else is a complete mess. Oh, sure. The trucks were coming from the southern part of the United States, and they were blowing through unwittingly. If you do the math, it's like 3 or 4 a day that were getting jammed up by the state police. And all the local companies that have trucks were bypassing so they didn't have to pay those tickets. And they're going to be the bulk of the economy on this bridge theory for the $700 million funding payoff. And they're going to be dodging 295, 195, and 95 all over Kingdom Come. Woo! This is the kind of thing I thought Link Chafee might pull. But he didn't even come up with this one. But he's in. Yeah. Headline. That was last week's headline. You know our good governor. We like to watch him. Anyway, I guess Eyewitness News felt it compelling enough to ask Joe Fleming, the pollster, whether this is a legitimate shot. I mean, I could write the script, but let's play it.
Polling data shows him in the low single digits. So unless he can raise a great deal of money and build some enthusiasm very quickly, it's going to be a very difficult role for him to move up there. But again, if the race was, say, Hillary Clinton and him, he's going to get some votes for people who just don't like Hillary Clinton to start with. But now it looks like at least a 3 or 4-way race.
All right. Well, tomorrow's a big day. Maybe he'll drop some kind of real bomb here that changes the tone of the presidential election. I don't think so. Well, it'll be entertaining anyway. Whether you're a contract employee or an employee, now you know the difference, right? If you're a contract employee, you get a 1099 and you're not paying payroll taxes, or the company that employs you is not paying payroll taxes. Here's the headline from late last week that I thought was fascinating. Exotic dancer files class action suit against the Foxy Lady. And you know what? I'm with the stripper. Maybe I should say that differently. I still have that chest cold, so I apologize. No, I'm with the stripper. I think that she is right. They come to work every day. They have management rules that they have to abide by. They're disciplined by management. They have certain time that they have to be on the floor. There are all sorts of restrictions that are placed on them. That they pay a $40 fee. Did you know this? They pay a $40 fee to get the permission to dance for a given week, I think, is a non-starter. That's the thing that has really kind of covered the strip clubs for a long time, the adult entertainment industry. I think this is going to revolutionize this lawsuit, this widespread lawsuit that this particular 2-year stripper is levying. I'm going to follow this carefully because it's not just about the strippers in the adult entertainment industry. There are a lot of businesses out there that get away with murder by not paying payroll taxes and keeping people on contract. So stay tuned. It's going to be fascinating. This is also fascinating, putting Jesus behind the stripper, but Jesus loved the strippers. Jesus loved everybody, right? Mary Magdalene is an example of someone that he took in under his wing. The Providence Journal has got a headline here that's got everybody kind of wondering. There's this Newport church, St. John the Evangelist, that's had this painting on the 12th station of the cross for quite some time. And if you see the line underneath the painting, that is considered to be, by those who believe there's something incredible going on there, to be blood. And while there was one person who tried to wipe it off years ago, it smudged and then reportedly filled back in. Now, there are those that believe that if you took a little high-test detergent or cleaner to that wall, it would all be taken care of and people wouldn't be coming thinking that there's something supernatural going on. I, on the other hand, don't want to mess around with that situation. If people think that Jesus is bleeding there for a spiritual purpose, I would suggest that you leave well enough alone. Laura, what was the detergent that everybody was saying that we should use here? CLR. CLR. It's a rust remover? That's what Jess said. I'm not going to blame it on Laura. We'll blame it on Jess, because around here, that's what we do. We blame it on Jess. Let's go to the state of mind of you. Your Facebook posts, your calls, your messages of whatever kind. Here's a Facebook post regarding this idea of the kids having to walk so long to school. Could someone ask Mayor Lorza in Providence why he's cutting funding to the neediest of Providence students? Our students are in desperate need of support. Yeah. Well, oh, this is about the reading as well. Well, the reading program. You know what? We'll have to do some investigation on the reading program. I thought we were talking about the, I told you it's Monday. It's one of those days where, woohoo! Mayor Lorza made some promises on education, including taking down the distance to 2 miles that you'd have to walk to school or be unsubsidized on the bus. The kids are holding them on that one, and we're going to try to get those kids back here because last time they heard they were brilliant. As far as the reading program is concerned, we'll take it under advisement. When we come back, headaches, migraines, no laughing matter. Stay with us. You got people in the family or you suffering from migraines, it's no laughing matter. In fact, it's lights out, sometimes for a lengthy period of time. Here's a little bit of a production about it.
The spinning sensation occurred whenever I moved my head. Even slight movement like this or this.
There's a squishiness in my ear that never leaves. And I also notice that I smell things that other people don't smell, and I taste things that have an odd taste to them that are not recognized by others.
And recently I've been experiencing unexplained odors. They're very strange, and they range from smells of exhaust to sweet smells of chocolate or popcorn.
It's different for everybody. Yes?
Absolutely. I think the most important message for people to understand about migraines is that while it's best known for its headaches, and those are very distinctive and intense, this disease is really a broader neurologic disease, and it causes havoc for other parts of the nervous system. As the people were saying in that very nice intro, they're having sensations that are not necessarily headaches, but they're odd sensory experiences they're having that are hard for them to interpret and often are missed by physicians because they don't really recognize it as a migraine illness.
Dr. Rick Godley is with us. You are affiliated with, well, you have your own practice.
I'm in private practice at University.
Ear, nose, and throat.
Yes.
Easier to say than How do you say
a lot
that?
of Latin. Otolaryngology.
Yeah, see, it is a hard G, Laura. I told you. Anyway, that's why.
Very good.
You grow up, at what point in your life say, I want to be an I want to be ear, nose, and throat guy?
I tell you, the medical school is a very interesting experience. You go through a process where you decide if you want to go into surgery or medical field, and I chose surgical field, and the field of otolaryngology is fascinating because there is these different systems that you work on: the ear, the sinuses, the nose, the throat, the voice box. And when you think you're going to just do a lot of surgery, you realize that a lot of patients are coming to you with problems that need a more medical approach towards them. And migraine is a good example of where patients were coming to me and they were complaining that they were having repeated sinus infections. And when they come to emergency rooms, or the primary care physician, and they say that they have a sinus infection, there really is no quick and easy way that you can analyze that. Really a CT scan and maybe having an endoscope to look in deep in the nose would help you make that decision. So it's understandable that a lot of physicians miss the diagnosis when it's neurologic, not bacterial. And the issue, though, is that the treatment is not effective if you use antibiotics. Nonetheless,
That's a big to-do, by the way. The whole, I just getting over a chest cold. Of course, I was in lobbying for some antibiotics. Give me a 5-pill, and my doc is like, no.
Right.
No, and I should come
So-
on your show and talk more about why I'm not prescribing as many antibiotics as you would like as a patient, you lazy patient. No. We get along, but I mean, that was that
Yes.
kind of a debate. So
Well,
that's a controversial thing right
that's
now.
a good physician.
Yeah,
He's
and I feel
he's
better.
doing the right thing.
So he was right. But to talk to me, listen, identify for me. First of all, 1 out of 4 families is experiencing some kind of migraine interaction,
Right.
rather it be
This is really a
personal or family.
This is a pandemic illness. It involves 37 million Americans. The reason it's so widespread is that there's probably a genetic basis. It runs through families. So the genetics of it are that there's lots of variations on it. And hence you have a disease that comes in many different flavors. And it affects different parts of the
Is there
nervous
is there a list of common ground symptoms where at least people can say, geez, maybe I am a migraine sufferer?
Well, yes. What really helps knit this all together is some history of headaches, and not just a standard headache, but a headache that is associated with either light sensitivity or actually visual changes where you'll have star bursts or temporary loss of vision or graying out. That's helps to differentiate some people. Or when they get the headache, it is just debilitating. It's not just like your normal tension headache, but it's one where there's often an isolated area where it's very sharp pain, and you feel horrible from the pain for several hours, and then you have another period where you just feel wiped out. You're tired, and hence people who have these attacks end up retreating to a bedroom.
Is it fatal? No.
Well, it's fatal if it's severe enough. People actually, there's several ways that it does affect people's length of life. One is that there's twice the risk of stroke with this disease, because as well as part of the pathophysiology is that in the brain you're getting an inflammatory response, and that's why you feel so absolutely wiped out after these attacks. That takes its toll on the small blood vessels in the brain over time. And you can see these on MRIs where the scar tissue starts to develop in the brain. Exactly what's happening isn't worked out, but that's what we're hoping to work on.
All right, well, we'll find out what we're working on. And by the way, there's some fundraising going on. There's always fundraising going on. Always fundraising going on. We'll tell you how you can help. Stay with us. DOC is part of the American Association of Migraine Disorders. There's a local chapter, I'm guessing?
Well, it's actually a nonprofit that was started right here in Rhode Island. There were other like-minded, both otolaryngologists, but also neurologists, gastroenterologists, dental surgeons who were experiencing some of these different manifestations of migraine. And we decided we needed a group that would advocate more for not only the traditional headaches, but the headaches that were appearing in other specialties.
Do you suffer from migraines?
I do not.
It's always fascinating to me that a doctor who treats a certain disease can actually describe the symptoms. I mean, obviously you're hearing it every day, right?
Right, that's really why.
But the assimilation is interesting. The intimacy that you have with a particular disease, even though you don't suffer from the symptoms of it, is, I think, a fascinating part of the medical discussion.
Well, Dan, as you say, it is hearing the stories over and over again, and I've really gained a lot of empathy for these people because they get bounced around and through the medical system.
It's only a headache.
It goes 7 years is the
Hang in there.
average length of time from first coming to a physician with the complaints and getting the diagnosis. And the problem is
7 years to get a
yes,
diagnosis?
on average. Yes, there's been a study that showed that it took that long for people to figure out what somebody was describing. And frankly, then you have a issue that it's often hard to treat. We don't have perfect treatment for this disease. About 50% of people, even when they get treatment, feel that they're not satisfied with the treatment they're getting.
So there's lots of questions still.
Yes, there's
and there's always need for fundraising, right? There's always need for money. Let me put a graphic real quick because you got an event. Because I don't want to get to the point where we don't put this up. Mad Hatter Party, Alice in Wonderland Croquet Tournament, Sunday, June 7th. That's this weekend coming up, 3 to 7, Aldrich Mansion, Warwick Neck. A fun event, but something that is good for your organization.
absolutely,
correct?
and this is as much about awareness as it is about fundraising. We have been blessed by having some people step forward as large sponsors. So we are really just looking to get people to come out, have fun with a game of croquet, which is, by the way, named Alice in Wonderland because Lewis Carroll suffered from migraine disease, and he had a very unusual aspect of the disease where he was having different perceptions of how large different parts of his body were, and it inspired him, we believe, in coming up with many of the quirky changes in Alice's size.
You get a message though, and you've got this theme at the end of the month, right? You want people to kind of assimilate and empathize.
So our Mad Hatter event is a local event, but really we want to start entering the national stage, and we think that one way to start having the public recognize how common migraine is people who have been touched by this disease, if they were to choose to wear purple. Now purple is the chosen color for migraine, and June is the month for migraine awareness. And we'd like to just choose one day, which is the last Monday in June, to be Migraine Monday. And that day, you wear purple, something purple, and better yet, wear some sunglasses. And at noon, to acknowledge that this is really about migraine, is wear the sunglasses wherever you are. If it's just for a moment, fine, but if you can wear it for an hour, it'll distinguish yourself as a supporter of the cause of migraine.
How far away are we? You only got about 45 seconds. How far away are we from solving this whole thing, you think?
Well, we're going to work with the Brown Institute for Brain Science and develop a center here right in Rhode Island to try to answer some of these questions. Some of the issues will be able to help some short-term treatment, but we'll need research to really answer the knotty questions.
Cool.
And I'd like to present you with a purple tie.
We don't wear ties on the show.
Well, at home.
Oh, thanks.
And some sunglasses.
Cool.
So
I'm always losing my sunglasses, so I appreciate it. So make a note of that, guys. On Monday of that,
the 29th of June.
We'll be doing the rundown in sunglasses. Good luck, Doc. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. It's not just a headache. One more thing when we come back, Steve. So I hope you understand that you can't be nonchalant about somebody who says, I got to check out for an hour or a couple of days because I got a migraine. It's serious business. And yet another thing that seems so simple but is not and dangerous, and we got to resolve. So good luck to the doc on that. Tomorrow, mayors are getting together with Lieutenant Governor to battle legislation regarding fire collective bargaining agreements. We'll make mention of that on the radio tomorrow at noon on WPRO, and I'll see you back here at 7:30 on MyRI TV.